We're going to get started here, and I always like to talk about, before we even get started, mainly about how we benefit each other, how the Bank Breezy platform is so good for you as a broker, especially now with all the different states that are coming out with changes in their disclosure laws. You need to be part of something like what we are putting together that protects you from violating stuff that you wouldn't even know you're violating. We got 100% online application process. We're actually offering the number one needed success tool out there, which is working capital, which we're going to talk about today. We pay on a daily basis. So in essence, you get paid daily, and really all you have to do is just get the word out. And these clients are coming back 4 to 6 times almost every single time that they get funding. As a new client, they always come back. But one thing I want to talk about is maybe a different philosophy of how you approach some of the businesses out there. David and I were talking yesterday, and he has some great ideas. He's going to expand on it as the weeks go by, and maybe sooner than that, on instead of being someone out there like every broker in America that's doing this, they're out there selling money instead of the value of the funding. And when you're out there selling money, you're actually selling rates, and you don't even really realize that, and really not what the cost of funds really are. You're really selling rates, and you're actually competing with the big banks on that 20% that we've already told you we're not after that 20%, because if a client can go to a bank and they can get the money, that's where they need to go. I had one this morning that says he can get 19% on money. And he said, but I think I can get it down to 15. Can you compete? I said, no, that's not what we do. And he can't get that money either, because I've seen his background, and I've seen some other things about him. He won't be able to get it either. He'll be calling us back. So I'm pretty positive about that. But I did get it in the high 20s, low 30s for him. And he's got some issues that no way the bank's going to take him. But hey, who knows? I want to give you 2 different ideas. I was listening to Matt and Nick when they were down here calling clients. And one of the things that they both do on a consistent basis, which makes them, the leaders when it comes to the number of fundings, is that they always talk to the business owner about, hey, Mr. Business Owner, if you had 25 to 100,000 right now in your bank, how would you use that capital to grow your business? They approach them like, listen, I'm here to help increase your revenue. I'm here to help make your business better and bigger. And what I'm finding is that a lot of agents out there, brokers, if you will, are focused strictly on the rates and selling the money part of it, and whether they need the capital or not. If they don't need the capital for a legitimate reason, it could be payroll, or it could be they already realize some of the things that we're going to talk about, because someone else, maybe a banker, had that idea. And I know this, when bankers talk to businesses, they always go in, and PK, you can attest to this if when you do listen to this, they're always talking to them. And now, what can we do to make your business better, to get you more revenue? And at that point, they talk about the growth potentials that are out there. So one approach is just like Matt and him does on every single one. No matter what you do, always ask them, hey, if I got you an extra 25,000, what do you think you could do with that and make your business better and to grow it? When selling funding, it's important to remember that each transaction, guys, is unique to itself. Therefore, it's essential to adjust your sales script accordingly by tailoring the script to the individual needs and circumstances of the customer. You can more effectively show them the value of your product. So you got to make sure that you do the research beforehand, learn about the customer's business, their industry, the current financial state of that particular industry, and the size of the market of where they're located. The more you know about your town and where you're talking to folks, the better you're going to shape your sales script to your individual needs. But before you emphasize the immediacy of the funding and how it can help the customer right away, first, I think you kind of need to flip the script. And that's what Matthew and them have been doing. They don't talk so much about the cost of capital and all that. It's just, what are you going to do with it if I can put $25,000 into your pocket? What are you going to do with it if I can get $100,000 to help build this patio? What do you think that will do? So instead of using the old way of talking about the rates and the money itself, create strategies with all your clients. Another approach is to say, Mr. Prospect, you don't need to be a $1 billion global brand to muscle market share away from your competitors in your area. What you need is an unstoppable business growth strategy. Now, you're going to have to put all this in your own words, but I've talked to businesses before, and I said, you know, there are a few strategies you can discuss with your client. I said, hey, here's some strategies. What about market development or market disruption, product expansion, which are new channels and partnerships, organic growth through advertising, facility expansion? So let me talk about each one of these real quickly with you. As far as market development, this is when you talk with the client about attempting to move into other untapped markets. And here's an example of a few untapped markets. You know, a lot of the people in business are have gray hair like me, and their markets may not include Facebook, online, that sort of thing. That's just one thing you could introduce to your client and say, listen, what if you had more money to put billboards at, doing some more local advertising, buying ads on Facebook? Market development is a common growth strategy because it allows you to move beyond your existing customers. And as a result, you're going to expand your share of the market. So if you start talking to clients about market strategies, and then you encompass what if we had the 25 to 50,000 and you could do this. Maybe you want to talk to them about market disruption. Market disruption involves coming into a well-established industry that is usually dominated by a few of the legacy brands and proceeding to do things completely different than anyone else has done it. There are a number of ways that you can potentially disrupt the market. You could do it by using a completely different business model, as a lot of direct-to-customer brands have done. You can utilize innovations like Salesforce offering a totally cloud-based CRM. I mean, that was different and that was new. You could offer significant cheaper, better quality products. You could provide something totally new, like changing the way the client communicates to the public, whether through text message, online, that sort of thing. And what, Mr. Client, if you had $25,000 or $50,000, how could you put that into play to really be a market disruptor for this particular area? And then, of course, product expansion, developing a new products or adding new features to existing ones can be a highly effective business growth strategy. Product development opens your brand up to new audiences that they weren't interested in before. But how do you think $25,000 would go, or $50,000 could go toward helping you with this idea of product expansion? And then the one I like the best is organic growth. Out of all the business strategies, organic growth is by far the ideal one. It means you're going to be able to spur growth without needing the need for additional advertisement that you're already doing. And where once you stop spending, you stop growing. And that's the way that most businesses are. They've got to spend, especially in the car industry, they got to spend $250,000, $500,000 a month to be able to hit those numbers that they have. With organic growth, your customer acquisition cost is lower, your return on marketing spend is higher, and it puts you on a frictionless upward trajectory. The more organic growth you can achieve, the less you have to spend on marketing, and the more you can invest in further development of your particular brand. Organic growth can be as simple as creating more space outside your current location. You can add an outdoor patio. These are the kind of ideas I want you guys to start thinking about. Is don't just talk about the actual cost of the capital right here. Hey, I'm selling you funding. You know, what can I get you 50,000 today. Well, they may not need 50,000. But if you do like Matt does and Nick and I was, here to experience it. They said, let me ask you something. What if I could get you an extra $25,000 to $50,000 in your account today? What are some of the things that you could do with it? What about expanding your marketplace? And they go through a lot of these different things. These are the way I laid it out. I did it quickly for you. It may not sound as smooth as you can turn it into your own words and make it. But I think if you start talking about the business that person's in right now and concentrate on how can we make more revenue come through your a bank account on a monthly basis, what are some of the thoughts? And here are some things that a lot of companies are doing in your space. Help your client create these strategies and present the only one key puzzle piece to make it a reality, and that's capital. If you can present to them all these ideas, there's really only one piece to the puzzle that's missing, and that's capital. And you have that. You have helped the client understand that there are dozens of ways to strategize their business. The only thing missing is capital. And a lot of them, don't expand because they don't have enough money to hire people. That's another thing to talk about. This is where David Allen Capital can help provide the solution to all these clients in a big way. So I don't know if this helped anybody today, but I just thought it would be a very nice way to let me just see if I can get this off right here. Escape here. Okay. I just thought that maybe it would be did I stop sharing, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So I just thought it would be a very smart thing to do is spend the next weeks and months honing your skills when you talk of talking to clients. And just because you get a lead, don't just, see, hey, let's see what kind of money we can get for you. Start talking to them about, listen, I know you said you need 10,000. Tell me what you're going to do with the money. And then they start telling you what they can do. Well, let me ask you this. What if we could bump that to 15 or 20,000? Would that be of value to you? And if so, talk to me about what you think you can do with this money to get it working for you, because it's not cheap money, but the cost of the money is irrelevant if you're able to do the things that you are mindful of right now that you want to do. Any questions at all? Or did I just totally bore the crap out of you?
I don't see any hands up, but that probably means you just covered everything really well.
Yeah, let's
if
go
anyone,
with that.
we'll go with that. No, absolutely. If anyone has a question, you can go ahead and use your virtual hand raise at this time. I do have some chats coming to me saying they love the information, and it looks like we do have one hand up. Jesse, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. In the beginning, you mentioned, I think it's Matt and Nick, and that they were making phone calls. I'm new, and one of the things I wanted to do was cold call locally to businesses. Is there a script? I thought I saw a script in one of the videos kind of going over the talking, but is there an actual one we could?
Yeah, they're actually, hey, that's a good question. There are actually scripts out in your back office, your agent resource center. Have you been into the agent resource center section of it? They have scripts for you. Tyler's put them out there. And the one thing about calling, and by the way, Matthew and Nick live in Argentina, and they call on their Zoom phones all over the United States. But you got to be careful when you're making these calls that you understand the do not call list rules, and just really focus on calling businesses and not cell phones. But all that's in your agent resource center.
Okay, yeah, I'm having trouble. I did go through the resource center, but
Jesse, you can email us at support, and I'd be happy to shoot you the link through email. Our support email is support@davidallencapital.com.
Thank you.
Of course. And last hand up, it looks like we have Susan. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Here's my question. Is there a way that I can read and truly learn, the very specific details of the asset-based funding? Because I'm going after builders, developers, and there's hundreds of thousands of contracts out there outstanding, and these people can benefit tremendously if they have the right capital at the right time, which is amazing that you're saying exactly what I've been working on. Like, I'm a mortgage lender, so this will come in. It just completes my work. It's a gift.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this too, and thanks for the question. I wouldn't spend personally, I wouldn't spend all my time on asset-based lending because it's a very competitive market. And we're not going to be the cheapest out there by any means. And as a matter of fact, a lot of brokers are getting confused thinking that we're funding real estate. That's not what we're doing. We're giving short-term funding and putting that up as a collateralized entity. And that is quite different than what we're talking about on the revenue-based funding. The revenue-based funding is quick. The turnarounds, it could be the same day, the next day. As soon as they say yes, it's usually the same day, and you get paid quickly. On asset base, it takes weeks, sometimes months. And you got to be doing, they got to be doing a minimum of 75 plus every single month in revenue before we'll even look at that. Right now, it hasn't been a great success for us. We're not experts in it, but we have experts that work with us. But most of the things that have been submitted to us have been the under 75,000 and under in revenue. So that doesn't qualify for our asset base, but it's still a great market if you do have the context like you have, and they need quick capital. They need it where the bank has already said no, because we can't compete with the banks. We're not going to be able to, and we never intended to and don't want to. We want the ones that the banks don't want, which is most of them. I'll tell you another idea. If you could ever find someone that is like a quadrant leader in the SBA side of things. I was told that about 90-some% of SBA loans are turned down. Man, if you could ever get with a quadrant leader, I met one out of Florida who was over several states, and pretty much all the apps came to their system. I don't know what their legality of being able to talk to those clients about, working capital, but I'm going to go find out where I can get my hands on those people and talk to them, because those are the kind of people that you want to get you want to have as a lead source for you as well.
I do have access to all of that. I can do
I do not.
SBA
Well, no,
loans.
I don't have access right now, but I just begun the process of finding out how to get access. And they're all, I don't know how many quadrants there are in the United States, but I'm going to find that out. And I've got a person that has been gone on maternity leave. She's back. Lindsay is this week. So that's one of the things she's going to work on for us, is to locate those leaders and see how we can take advantage of the fact that there are a lot of people out there really needing funding, and it's just getting tougher and tougher. And by the way, Harlequin yesterday informed me of the cost of the government funds are going up and up and up and up. That really puts us in a really good position right now.
If I may, one more thing about the cost of doing things our way versus, in reality, it's not a real cost. It's opportunity money. If they don't have the money, they will not get that result.
Amen.
Or even if you get a regular mortgage, because the term is long, you don't realize that you're paying 2.5 times of what you borrowed.
Well, maybe we should just bring you on one Wednesday instead of me, because I think I don't know crap about mortgages, but I know this. I know when we signed ours, I started doing the math in my head, and I put it down real quick and said, I don't even want to know this. this crazy. But you're right. It's really not, which is exactly what we're saying. It's not about selling money. It's selling opportunity. And that is really all this is about.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
And
you so
can tell
much.
I'm a little bit excited, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. That's good. Well, I tell you what, get with whoever's in your upline lineage and get them working with you, whoever that may be, so that you can take advantage of all these thoughts that you have and get you on a fast track to learning everything there is, because it's quite different than coming in, you know, when bankers or brokers from the real estate, not real estate, but mortgage market come into the company. They've been doing it their way for so long. They don't understand that we're looking for everybody outside of what the realm is that they dealt with. And that's 80% and probably going to get higher than that. I heard from multiple people this week that their lines of credit were cut off completely from their bank. And that's not going to be out of the ordinary real soon. As a matter of fact, it's going to probably start happening all over the country before we know it. And that is really going to enhance. You know, I want to close with this. If the economy is incredibly great and there's more opportunity than you know what to do with out there and money, our business explodes. But when the economy is really tight and it's hard to get hands on funding, our business really explodes. So we got an opportunity to take advantage of whatever economic circumstances are out there, not take advantage of people, but take advantage of opportunities that people wouldn't have without the funding that we have available to them. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you being on, and I hope y'all got some type of information here that you can, just a tidbit, a little golden nugget that might help. Thank you. Have a blessed rest of the week.